Cadria of Inviolate.
Chris of Inviolate.
Jade of Inviolate.
Jeff of Inviolate, and a RichardMetalFan.
So what's up, guys? Episode 116 of Richard Metal Fan Interviews here at the Masquerade in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm here with my good friends in Inviolate. How you guys doing?
What's up? Doing good.
Hey, man.
Looking forward to the show tonight.
Awesome. First show of 2023. How excited are you all for the show tonight?
Quite. We haven't played Purgatory in a long time.
Yeah, and it's also my first time seeing Inviolate because after many times then something came up, but now it's finally happening.
Yes.
Yeah, the stars aligned perfect.
Awesome.
So kind of like I want to do is I want to do like a rundown of the Inviolate catalog, as well as talk about you guys' journey as musicians from where you started to now. But I'm just curious, before we go into that, who are the first bands that got you into metal and what made you want to play your respective instruments? I guess we'll just go down the line, starting with you, Cadria.
Okay, so I got into metal because of Korn. Yeah, way back in the day. I'm much older than I look.
Yeah, their first album came out the year I was born.
Stop it! Doggone it!
I'm sorry.
Well, I had a friend in college who thought he would shock me by giving me a Korn CD back in the day.
Yeah.
I listened to that and I was like, run back downstairs, and I'm like, do you have more of this? And he's like, because Jonathan Davis's vocals, it's like nothing I heard, then that detuned guitar, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
I want more. So yeah, that was my first splash into metal.
Hell yeah.
Chris?
I've always liked heavy music in general. Cliff Burton, of course, inspired me for metal bass. I had a lot of a punk background, so like Matt Freeman from Rancid was a big inspiration. And then I started hearing more of the industrial side, which made me interested in joining up with Cadria way back in '06. So.
Make me feel so old.
Yeah.
So I guess my introduction to metal was, I guess Metallica, really. Metallica, Pantera, Tool. I grew up on those bands. And then as far as getting to play drums, it was really when I first discovered Dream Theater. Mike Portnoy kind of...
All-time favorite drummer, by the way.
Yeah, he's fantastic. And then discovering Blake Richardson and Between the Buried and Me, that's what really tipped me over the edge.
Ha ha ha.
I guess for me, I'm the kind of person who never really liked music in general at first until I turned like 12 or 13. I can't remember the exact year, but I heard Down with the Sickness at the end of the remake of Dawn of the Dead. And from then on, it was pretty much just like that, and then into heavier and heavier music. My mom's boyfriend was into Pantera. That shit was fucking awesome. Can I cuss on this? Cussing okay on this?
Yeah.
All right, just bleep it out if it's not. But yeah, from there, I just got further and further into it and really wanted to play guitar. So mom got me a guitar, and now I'm here.
Awesome. So what were your guys' bands before joining up at Inviolate? I know, Jeff, you play with Soul Trap, but what about for the
Still
rest
does.
of you guys?
I was in a new metal band for a little while called Element 21 back in 2004 for a little bit, and then I wanted to do more of that electronic industrial feel, and so we parted ways, gracefully and everything, and went to start Inviolate, about a year and a half after that. Awesome. And other than that, I was just in like cover bands and doing stuff in bars for a couple of years.
Yeah, I just messed around with some friends in college doing some punky stuff, but nothing ever really took off. So, Inviolate was my first real band that's gone somewhere, and I've grown with it. So, good to be here still.
I was in a whole bunch of bands in Nashville in the early 2000s, and then I moved back to Atlanta right before the pandemic started. My other soiree into Atlanta metal is a band called Scorched Moon.
He scorches moons.
Self-promotion, guys.
Always.
He scorches moons when he is not with Inviolate.
I still get to talk. Yeah, I'm in Soul Trap. What about it? We're writing new stuff right now, so we're kind of on a little hiatus from shows. My first band, though, was back in high school in Anchorage, Alaska. We were called Black Armada, and that's, quickly went nowhere, because what are you going to do in Anchorage, Alaska? No offense, Alaska, I love you. But, yeah, that's about it.
Awesome. And so how did Inviolate form? Because I believe y'all formed 2010?
Actually, 2006. Inviolate has had phases and stages.
Oh yeah.
Inviolate started with me and a guitarist named Brian Brown, and we were, just writing some stuff together and put out a call for bassists. And at that point, we thought we were going to have an electronic musician dedicated, like Mike Shinoda type person. And Chris answered the call for bass playing like almost immediately. Then we were without a drummer for the longest time. Played a couple of shows at Sweetwater in 2007 with our friend Chris Phillips, and then
Went through a few drummers.
went through a few, and
Fucking
then
drummers.
Chris and his lovely lady moved to New Jersey for a little bit. Then after that, I got everybody's blessing to do what I call Inviolate 2.0, in which I'm the constant, you are stuck with me, but there are different guitarists, bassists, and drummers depending on who's available and who wants to do a show.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, everybody, it's one huge family.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Chris and I are pretty much the OG Inviolate people.
Yeah. The OG.
That's right. But, yeah, that's and we've just, had people come in and out depending on, if they were available and they were wanted to tour and everything, and we love them all.
Awesome. And tell me about like that first album, Feast of Ashes. I love that. I just recently bought it at the merch.
Well, thank you.
Merch, and I know Chris is like that. Jeff is doing some stuff. For
He's
pictures.
a social media guru.
Yeah. Hashtag interview.
That's right.
So tell me about Feast of Ashes. Like, where was that recorded at? I was listening to it on the way here, and it's fucking great.
Thank you. Can I tell you about the EP that's even before Feast of Ashes?
Ooh, dude, you need to throw that on Spotify.
Yeah,
Chris?
I should have done my research.
Hey,
beforehand.
it's on Bandcamp. You can find it there.
Damn.
Should be on Spotify. I'll have to
should be?
check that out.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you about both. So the EP
Okay.
was Brian, Chris, and I, and who did drums on that? Was that Chris Phillips?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so we did that at Lead Belly Studios with Matt Washburn, and Feast of Ashes was recorded over at, was it Second Sky? Sorry, Mike Froge. I don't.
Definitely Mike Froge.
Definitely Mike Froge when Avatar was still a thing and he had that big studio in the back. So that was also Brian and Chris, and Mike played drums on that, and I sang on that. But yeah, that was kind of in that in between 1.0 and 2.0 phase when we recorded that, and yeah.
Yeah, and then tell me about Feast of Ashes. I know last year was also the 10-year anniversary of that. So how do you feel about it almost a little over a decade later?
I told you, this interview is making me feel really old, Richard.
I'm sorry. I just feel like it's
It
I
is
know you
10
take
years
times
old.
between like your releases, but I love that. Where is it,
It has
recorded
been 10
at?
years, hasn't it?
Has it
That was-
been? Oh my god.
11 now.
God. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Top 10 anime twists. I'm sorry.
Nah, it's all right. It's all good. It's all good, man.
Yeah.
How do I feel about it now?
Yeah. Yeah, as opposed to when you first put it out.
I feel like we've grown a lot. That was definitely we're still playing two of the songs from there tonight, and a lot of people still enjoy it. And just glad to have written something that has stood the test of time. And like I said, a lot of people still enjoy it, like you said.
Yeah, tell me about like Condemned. Like, was that like y'all's first video for the album?
Yes, it was. Yeah, that was actually the first video that we ever put out, like a real video out there.
Yeah, and I definitely think it's great. And I especially love the chorus. It kind of reminds you a little bit of like Evanescence a little bit.
Okay. I'll take that. That's
and
a
also
compliment.
like Invocation, which has definitely that kind of thrash vibe instrumentally.
Nice.
Like,
Okay.
I'm guessing like you
Brian
try to
wrote
like
that.
That was always
like
a
everybody.
personal favorite of mine.
Yeah, I'm guessing you all like try to like bring in like different like influences, different like elements to Inviolate.
Well, that's the thing about Inviolate 2.0. Everybody brings their own spin to the music, and every combination is different. So you never get like the same live show twice if it's different people. And I absolutely love that because people have their own interpretations, and they bring it, and it just makes the song that much better live.
Right. And then tell me about your second album, Insomniac Dream. Yeah, because usually with the debut, you have like your entire life and career, and then there's like hype with the first album. When it came to Insomniac Dreams, did you felt like pressure to follow up Feast of Ashes?
Oh yeah, we're always looking to like do the next big thing. Make the next thing better. Not the next big thing, but it's always just make it better. So that was like the absolute full length. We went up to Chicago to record with Jordan Pop up there, and we actually did the DI recording for the guitar and bass here. We recorded drums at Lead Belly again with Matt, with Ernie Topern on drums. Then we took all that and brought it up to Chicago for Jordan to mix with my vocals in the electronics.
Yeah, and I also love the song Sisyphus.
Sisyphus?
Sisyphus.
Yeah, you heard that during the.
Yeah, and I love how you also got Bjorn from Soilwork to do guest vocals on there.
Yeah.
How'd you hook up with him to sing a song with y'all?
Okay, so that story, what had happened was, here at the Masquerade at Heaven, this one time, without our band camp, Soilwork was
Pre-band camp.
And then at one time, pre-band camp, Soilwork was playing here, and I had saved and scrounged up $50 to buy a Soilwork hoodie. I was ready to go get that hoodie, and they didn't have them during that show.
Rip.
And so I go, I want to give this band my money. How can I do this?
As you should. You should
Yes.
support your artists.
Yes, especially when you flew all the way from Sweden. So the merch gentleman said, well, nobody is doing meet and greets. Now, I have a thing against meet and greets. I don't like paying for people's time. It's too much like the whole geisha thing. But I would make an exception for Soilwork. And so I paid for the meet and greet. And there was just me and one other guy.
We're recording
Hey
an
guys,
interview.
hey man,
Hey,
we're recording.
Yeah.
You're in
We're in
front-
an interview. Get out of the way.
That's the camera, dude.
Hey,
That's all
shit
right.
that happens in interviews, guys.
It works. It's in the green room. Okay. So I was actually on the bus with the whole band. And
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
That's
and so there's like 2 people there. And I immediately go, oh my God, how do you do your vocal? How did you come up with this? How did you come up with that? And I just like
Total
peppered it.
fangirl.
Yeah, tried not to. It was hard not to. I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. That was the inside. The outside, I'm just like, hey man, that was just really awesome. You're a great influence on me. In the inside, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So. And so they were like super friendly. You know, they gave me and the other guy all the time in the world. And I had seen Bjorn had done guest vocals on a friend's band in Delaware, of all things.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I'm like, hey, are you with World? I heard you did with World's Lost. Would you be interested in doing a guest vocal on mine? And he said, as long as it fits the tour schedule and I like the music, I'll do it.
Awesome.
I said, okay, let's exchange information. You just tell me exactly how much you need. So he gave me his contact information. About a year later, I sent him the bones of Sisyphus, and I said, this is what I imagine. Put your spin on it. Do you like it? Are you available for this? Turns around and says, I like it. And of course, that sends me about fainting. And he sends me he sends me a draft of Sisyphus, and I'm just like, oh my God, I have a song with Bjornstad. I'm like, yeah, man, this is great. Yes, you sent me the finals, send the payment, all this stuff. Played it super cool, and then every time Soilwork came through, and Bjorn, if you're watching this, you're seeing exactly what happened. You're seeing the stuff that you didn't see before.
Yeah, and come back to the States. I need to see Soilwork.
Uh-oh. And so from then on, we, whenever I would see Soilwork on 70,000 Tons, when I would see him around the Southeast, I'd make an effort to go see Soilwork, and we'd hang out, and he's a super cool guy, and every single one of those Soilwork guys are super cool.
Yeah, and tell me about like Broken Cycle. I love that. I love that song in the video. It also feels like you're also like portraying like almost like a character in a way.
I am a character in the way.
Yeah, it's almost kind of like an extension of who you are personally.
No, that's the real me.
Oh,
You see me in street clothes or corporate camo clothes. That's
Yeah.
the disguise.
Yeah, it's like you're like incognito.
Yeah.
When you're just dressed like you're just like, oh, that's Kate.
Yeah.
But then you're like, this is like, who are you?
Broken Cycle, what the concept there was, you know how like pop always has like dance videos? I wanted a metal dance video with swords. That's
Yeah.
pretty much what it is.
Yeah, and people always say that, and then you're like, say you can't do that in metal, and you're like, hold my beer.
Exactly. Hold my beer. In fact, put it on my head.
Yeah, and kind of since I know it's been like a little over almost going on 6 years since Sorry Strings, have you all started working on the next Inviolate release?
Oh, can we talk about that? Yeah? Okay. So yes, we have. We have something coming up on Valentine's Day. And it is us unplugged with four of our songs unmixed, remixed.
Reimagined, maybe?
Reimagined, okay, and one new one, which eventually will be with a full electric version on the next full-length album. So we're releasing an acoustic AP called Blackout on Valentine's Day on Bandcamp.
Perfect gifts for,
Yes.
for all your lovers.
There you go.
So kind of in the end, to wrap things up, have you all got any more shows coming up in the future?
For right now, we have one in Knoxville in June, and we've put in for a couple of shows here at the Masquerade. I'm not going to say anything yet.
Yeah, you'll tell me when I turn off the camera.
Maybe. But yeah, so I mean, like we're booking now into, we're looking at Knoxville, we're looking at Orlando, possibly going back again up north for a little bit. So yeah, trying to get maybe Chicago again. I want to play Chicago again.
Awesome.
So before we go, just want to thank you all for
right,
this
thank you,
interview.
Richard. Appreciate
It's
it.
awesome chatting with y'all.
That was just any final words you want to say to close this out?
What's up?
Any final words you want to say to close this out?
Prepare to be inviolated.
That says it all, I think.
Oh yeah. With other musicians, playing with Inviolate, check out Scorched Moon first off. Check out Soul Trap. Check out Beast Mode, Tombstone Blue, and Dark Bloom. That's who we're playing with tonight, and support your local metal.
Awesome. So everybody, Inviolate. We'll see y'all next time.